Who's the
All right.
counselor for the area?
Okay, so what's going to happen is, hi, Loretta, Marianne was in the middle of a question when you came on. All right, so what happens is there's these two helplines. They come through me in the north and they come through Loretta in the south. As soon as we get it through a Google Voice, which comes as a transcription, you know, an email type of thing, that there's an alert. If we have known counselors in the area, first of all, if it's an easy question, we'll handle it ourselves. If it's not an easy question and it needs real counseling, then whoever had volunteered to work in that area or all over Westchester, because some people volunteered to take any calls from any place in Westchester, we would just send that email over directly to any of those people that signed up. So if you say Riverfront, nobody specifically signed up for Riverfront. So Loretta would be sending it over to somebody in that area. Or you, or somebody like Jeff, we'll show you the spreadsheet later, but Jeff and Marna and Michelle up in Saratoga, those guys are going to do anywhere in Westchester.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But the reason we wanted north and south is that once me and Loretta go and set up libraries, you know, and announce to the libraries that this is the current plan, and we encourage them not only to put out the book, I'm going to tell this all later, but while people are signing on, we're encouraging them to put out the bookmark and to please, could people come if necessary, if we have to do in-person counseling like we used to do, the library in that local area would be the best place for those people because we're filtering them by geography of where they are. And so they could meet up at the library. They could also meet the diner if they wanted to, but the library would be available. And so far, the 4 libraries I've already called, they all of them said absolutely positively they'd allow them to use the conference room or a small space or in the back corner, whatever, and they would loan them their laptop.
Okay. All right, I did see my name on a couple of the areas with notation. I think there was one, but I'm not in that area, so I will never go there. That I think it's Montrose or something like that. Is way up there.
Yeah, because you said Rivertown, so I assumed Rivertown meant south of Tarrytown, but I saw it on the thing and I said, oh, maybe she knows something. So just correct it, because the people who have access to the spreadsheet are me and Loretta, because that keeps it tight on the stylistics we're using, so that anybody who makes a correction, just go and tell us, and we'll fix, because that's in a state of progress. We're building that. Okay. So more on that whole thing. But really, well, when we start the meeting, we'll discuss all those later. The rest of it, you can stay right for you can stay in the right. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. So now you can hear me, but when the lawnmowers start, which will be after 10, you might have a problem. That's why the interference. Yeah, it's Monday. That's why.
That's great. Yeah, it's Monday. I know. I already had it already. Hi, everybody. I can't see people on. I can't see because the Loretta is sharing her screen. But hello, generally, to who are signing on.
That's okay.
I could stop sharing.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss those details. That's part of the agenda, because the point of this whole meeting was to just get this thing off the ground. That's why meeting after meeting. But yeah, well, I'll explain that all later too. Didn't want to lose this week. So we'll just wait for a couple more minutes. Don't expect a lot of people today because of, here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. There he is.
Hi, all.
Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Oh, look who's here. Diane, how are you?
Morning, everyone.
Hi. I don't know how long to wait, because I expected not so many people today, so I don't know how long to wait.
Maybe give it another minute or so, because I think it's just 10:01 now. Maybe we give them till 10:03.
Okay.
How was everyone's weekend?
Easy.
As long as it's not hot. I remember when I was teaching June used to be sweat, just constant really heat. And these springs have been milder. This is a mild spring, right?
Well,
I used to-
it doesn't feel like that today, but yes, it has been like overall, it's been fairly mild for this time of the year.
Did anyone have that really crackling thunder last night? It
No.
woke me up. Oh my gosh, I thought it was gonna come through the roof. I didn't dare look at the clock, but it was just really, really, I don't remember ever hearing that close and that intense.
And it was pouring.
It was pouring. It was pouring, yes.
We got nothing here in Norwalk.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
it
got
was all
rain.
here over my head.
That's funny. A few more minutes, one more minute. I can't see who's coming. Betsy. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're waiting one more minute and then I'll start. It's just that the intro is important of why we have 2 weeks in a row, 2 back-to-back like this. Just so everybody doesn't think this is going to be overwhelming. It's not. No, I'll say it in a few minutes.
Hey, Mary Ellen.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Julie, I think you can take it away. I think we're at 10:04.
Okay, let's go. I'm just gonna do the opening comments here, and then Loretta can discuss the spreadsheet. The reason for this reset of 2 weeks back to back is because Diane's gonna speak on the 27th. There was two holidays coming up that involve next weekend and the week after, the July 4th weekend. So that instead of waiting 3 weeks to hear Diane's very big meeting, which is the 27th, it was supposed to be the 20th, it's moved to the 27th, and I decided, okay, make one more now. So that we don't go 3 weeks without meeting. And the reason for that is that so much is being done right now to set this thing up that everybody has to kind of know what's going on and know the resources that are being built online and know the libraries that we've already contacted and know the helplines are out there and working so that you can all understand in volume what's happening rather than bitsy pieces that take 2 or 3 months to build. This is like a crash build as far as I see it. And a lot of pieces are falling into place. So that's the reason for this meeting, to show you where the pieces are and to see if we can get any more involvement at this stage. And then the main crux of with David's question last week about volunteer protection and the high cap exam and how to qualify and what commitment, that's Diane's purview, and that comes in 2 weeks' time. This meeting is purely to establish the setup and the resource tools, I suspect, as you can see from the agenda. So do you have anything to add to that, Loretta, Morna?
No.
No, I think that's fine.
Okay, so basically, I think we'll let her Loretta share the screen for the civic documentation screen so that you can see from the scratch. When we send you the link to the drive, this is what you get when you open the drive.
You seeing that?
No, go back one, go back to specific documentation so they know, is this isn't it, is it? No, this is inside it already. So go back one. This is just one of the spreadsheets.
Oh, where is that? Ah,
I think it's on the other tab on the top left.
Look at Drive. You see the Drive? It says Drive there. with the
problem is
fourth bookmark.
I can't get.
Bookmark. Bookmark there.
I know. I just can't get to the tabs right now because this stupid thing is over it. I can't get around it.
The
Oh, I see.
Zoom controls are blocking it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, finally. All right.
Back. One more.
This is.
No,
you want
one more back.
Civic documentation.
This is the main screen, right? This is the link that everybody has that can get into anything on this whole thing. And the way I did the documentation for ARP is almost the same thing. These very important big folders, I put a little squiggle in front of it so that they sit on top. So lists would be any collected list that we've made. We'll look at that later over the past years. If anybody has any other lists, for example, durable, I've noticed in the documentation, there's durable medical equipment lists. Anybody who has any list that they've compiled, nursing homes has been a list. I've done a hospital list, which is not yet there. If anything is, just send it to me as a document or PDF and put the date on it of when it's done. Because when I mount things, I put who sent it with your initials and the date, if it's a compiled thing. So everybody knows where we're at and knows how much work it does needing to be updated. We'll look at that later. Then the Medicare minute things here, I'm not putting everything in there that you can get online and shipped up, but that's just the intensive script for the year, you know, each one of those, that's the ones that discuss the 7-pager, 8-side pager of the Medicare minutes, just for easy reference. You don't have to go into SHPTA for that. And then I'm not sure that's up to date. It may be a month off. And then the MRC topics, that is for one-off items that just is a document, a PDF. And let's go look at that for a minute. Could you do the topics? So that one I'll get rid of very quickly.
How do we access this list?
We're sending you we have sent it already, but she can put it in again in an email to you for the Drive. The Drive link is what you need. Anybody can use this thing, but you just need the link and then bookmark it. Once you open it, bookmark it, okay? So here's the MRC. This is the one that's called miscellaneous topics. And as you see there, they're all individual PDFs. For example, let's look at that letters, colored notifications. That question always comes up on HiCap and we always go looking for it. Scroll down there and you can see, you know, that thing.
Color-coded.
And go back. There's all kinds of one-off things that were not, you know, I didn't figure out a category to put them in. Can you go back to civic documentation now? And we'll click, you can explore them to see where things are located for easy access. The next one after miscellaneous topics, the fourth one down is notes. That's where I take a lot of notes, like Eric Hausman talks, I take a lot of notes, not only notes, but sometimes I just go to the original recording and word by word, try to get it exactly what he said. So that's gonna be in there. And the author and the date. If anybody does that, please send them to me. I'll put them in because sometimes they're really important. The next one is promotion. And right now we can go in there, click that. Promotion is the first thing we did was made this press release for the helplines, which has now been okayed, which I will start to circulate once we're in order, once we've really established ourselves. And this gives the 2 helplines. It says the Tuesday, it says the dates, and we honored Phyllis in memoriam by using that picture. It was something that we have permissions. That's Regina at Tarrytown Library who sat for that specifically to give a counseling picture. And we all felt that we would respect her memory and use that picture since it's exactly the essence of what we do. And then it scrolls down to, this is what I'm intending to do. I may tweak it in a few, because I've been working on some things this morning, but basically that's it. I have the connections to the the editors and publishers, and I'd also want to put this on as patch articles, neighbor contributions all over the darn place, various forms. Yes. Could you go back? Back again, right? So that's the only thing in the press releases. And then at the moment, but that will have other publicity stuff. Scroll up a bit because we're missing one category. Yeah, there we go. So then recordings, that's when Diane sends recordings or something that I think is really important, or our meetings, any recordings. They'll be, when I start loading them, they'll be same, the name of the meeting and the date. Notice when I build these things, I do not use the title that's sent to me for anything. I use a title that is obvious with the first word search so that it falls alphabetically in the right place and that you can find it. So search keywords. Look at the top of that screen where it says search and drive. If you put a keyword in there, you can probably get to all the choices you have easily down there. Scrolling down after recording, there's a COVID thing. There's updates on COVID.
Julie, while
Yeah.
you're doing recordings, are the recordings of these meetings in there now?
I don't know if she loaded them yet, but they would be, okay?
There are no recordings yet because last week I wasn't recording. I wasn't on our site last week, so I didn't
Right.
record.
Okay,
But she is now because I saw the little blurb come up.
Yeah.
So after COVID, then you have, now here are the main folders. These are folders that I've just decided that are important that we could shove information in conveniently that I always, this is how I organize myself to do Medicare minutes. So it's enrollment is one big topic. Then I've started for myself to make high cap notebook excerpts, but that doesn't necessarily have to exist. Medigap's, mental health, MSPs, anything costs for lower income, anything in there. So it's MSPs, Medicaid. Can we open that for a minute and I'll show you how that gets organized. So in there, you will have topics, again, keyword, application, dual eligibles. COVID sticks out. I think I put that in both places. MSP and Medicaid expansion. It's notification letters. You know, it's very, it's logical rather than by the original title. Okay, we can go back. Under then part A includes the skilled nursing and hospice. Part B includes DME instead of being separate. Part C includes retiree plans information. Part D includes part B drugs, so that all drugs are in one place, even though it's part D, any information about drugs. Then the plan finder helps, and what do we do? And then links for Spanish resources. Now, on that page, click on the links for Spanish resources. Instead of putting all the resources and using up space, I just mounted some very important ones, but as self-standing ones, but this is the links where you can, if you open, when this opens, it's a document, you can go to those to get the links of where you can download it online to get those Spanish ones. That's what we've been working on. If we go back, I think the left tab, I think that Loretta now can explain the spreadsheets, which she was working on so heftily as well. So the spreadsheets are really important. Let's go back to the beginning so that we can see where they are. The SBIC, the drive, just click drive button again or something.
It just seems to have frozen.
Oh, it did?
Okay. Fine, some action. Okay.
There we go. So we're back up at the lists. So in the list right now, we have a spreadsheet with all the, it should really be in promotion, but it's going to be in lists because it's more than just promotion. It's our connection, everything we want to know in our connection with the libraries and the rec centers. It's all there, and the elected officials. Then other lists are in there that like our, who is us, the volunteer emails list, that's all of us so far as I know, May 2022. If people don't want to be on it, they tell me, I'll take them off and I'll remount it. Easy as pie. All of this is really easy to put new versions in. I do it all the time. So I'll let Loretta take over from the library spreadsheet.
Well, right now it won't open. Probably because
Maybe.
Way too many things open. But
I'm gonna get out of it. I'm gonna get out of it just in case. I'm out.
just that it's, if you can see my screen, you can see Chrome isn't responding.
All right, quit Chrome and come back in.
I
Me-
don't think that's a good idea since
Oh, yeah, you're on.
I started the meeting. I probably will end it by doing that.
That's true.
Um,
I don't know how to share my screen.
okay, here we go.
I can try it if you allow the screen
It's
sharing
up,
for
it's up,
participants.
it's up.
Okay.
Okay,
So if you,
the first one is the libraries. And we have all the libraries. I think we tried to put who said they were associated with it. Marianne, I did take you off of Montrose. But this is basically north and south, Loretta versus Julie, the library, address, phone number, contacts, and the person who said they were a backup or the person to contact should someone call from that library. And here, Jeff, Michelle, and Marna who said they would back up any library. Our Google Voice numbers. So when you call these Google Voice numbers, north or south, it will create you can leave a message. It will create an email, send it to Julie or I, and then we can respond to it. We can hear the message and forward it to someone or respond to it ourselves and get back to the person who left the message. So this is pretty straightforward. Julie has put in some comments. We can put in, you won't be able to update this, but if you have some comment relevant to how the library is operating or anything relevant to that, maybe more so than the library, we're really doing we're trying to get the calls routed based on what town they're in. So the library really represents the town in this case, as opposed to someone who called or came to us through the library. It's a little bit of both. It's just intended to be a little geographic, let's put it that way, some way to organize something. Okay.
I'll put in one more thing here with the DM. Do you see that gray thing on column F and G at the top? DM means that I've set up, this is the person, this is my contact for setting up demystifying, and it can be years long. I mean, some of these go back to 2014. I mean, season after season after season, but all of them actually, if you connect yourself and say, I'm part of the same group, somehow, if you're talking to those libraries, DM is basically in those libraries, wherever there's a DM thing going on. Demystifying is in there.
Just since I didn't mention it, all of these have links. They are real links. Just highlight it, go down here. You can get to each of the libraries if you should want to. I mean, if you want to check dates or whatever, days they're open. Okay. The other list is a little bit more complex in the sense that it's senior centers, it's rec centers, it's whatever, it's things that we could find that seem to support senior activities. It could expand to anything or any organization that has some kind of affiliation with seniors or almost seniors that we can spread the word through. Again, there are links here. So this will be a link to Ardsley Parks and Recreation. The address, phone number, contact information, and again, comments, which is more or less anything that seems relevant to mention. This list up here is a list of DSPS's list of senior clubs and directories. It's on the web. I'll go there for a second in case you guys haven't seen this. This is an interesting list. It has some places that I didn't include in our list because I couldn't find them on the web, just addresses of senior centers. So I don't know if there's this. No, I think everything on this list is on my list, but just so you see this is a list that was compiled by DSPS presumably. Okay, and
Again, with the gray thing on the side with the DM is just a contact. DM host means they actually, like the rec department actually hosted it, like Croton Rec. I do it at the rec center, Cortland. I do it at Cortland or the town hall or something like that. The rec department is the host, not in a library. And the DM co-sponsor means that, like, for example, Lewisboro Seniors co-sponsors with the library system out in South Salem, the demystifying, or another example is Livable Communities, Hannah Gross in the North Counties co-sponsors at the Ossining Library. So that's the relationship that I have with them. I differentiated it here because it's actually sometimes not in a library at all. So it could be a host or a co-sponsor. That's not mine.
And just to let you know, Hannah Gross I do believe she retired.
Really? Oh, that's right. She came to the demystifying to learn. That's right.
So I believe she's happily in retirement.
Diane, could you have a list of the city? I want to put the livable community, the main city in that list. I couldn't figure out because there's a list of like North County, but it doesn't say where their office is. Do you have a list of, I want to attach it to the village as far as I'm concerned.
I'll check with Colette Phipps, who heads up, the livable communities, and see if she has a list that she can provide.
Okay, thank you.
Julie and Loretta, on the library list, I think the fact that I said I would be back up to anyone, putting my name down there makes it look as though I'm the person that's going to take care of all the calls. That's not true. I'm only when the calls are overwhelming. So that when you have somebody's name down there, you're not going to get volunteers to take the spot. Understand what I'm saying or trying?
Yes.
You think that, are you trying to say, Marna, I should take you out of that cell, for example?
Yeah, because I'm not the first person. I'm there to.
I think that's right. Then we leave a place for the first person as opposed to.
Yeah.
No problem.
Loretta, this is
Maybe
Mary.
add a column for backup and then primary.
Well, you could be in the same thing first and second, like in the same, just drop a line. It could be first contact, second contact. I like to say, my construction of spreadsheets, don't make them too wide. So I like to put things in the same cell so that you don't have to scroll. But the point being that one of the points of this meeting is really, we would like people to attach themselves to some of these places. So we're not, because you're going to get the email from me or Loretta, and it would be nice to know automatically, okay, they live in Ossining, send it there. They live in, Tarrytown, you send it there. If you please sign, if you want to counsel, attach yourself to a library. This is not going to come in volumes. This is going to take months to build by the time we put, you're not going to be overburdened. You might not get any phone call in the next month until this builds, but give it a shot. Sign up for something so that we don't have to worry about where it's going. Diane asked to be CC'd on everything that we forward, which we're going to do with Diane and one, so that she can keep track of where it's gone. And then when you finish your counseling, you'll log it on your own counseling memo thing. She just wants to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. So Marna, if there are libraries that you're willing to be the first contact, please tell us, we'll put it in. Anybody else, Betsy, I'm going to send Betsy a link now. It's ready to go with that drive. But anybody, just put your name if you're willing to be the first contact. It's not going to be a burden, to tell you the truth. The burden is studying for Medicare. That's the burden.
Well, hopefully it's not a burden.
It is a burden. That's okay, can we go to that third list? which is the elected. All right, so this, my glasses, I can't see anything. All right, so with the glasses off, I can now see. This is in the state of building. I had this as a PDF for myself because whenever I advertise to. Huh?
I have no idea.
You don't have any idea? Maybe he's not talking to me.
Hey,
Okay, so
we
this-
gotta mute everybody except the active speaker here.
May, I don't know. All right.
He's answering the phone call, I think. Okay, pretend he's in another office. Hi, Dave. Now, so the top thing here is legislators, this green section. That's with the aid, the legislator itself, the aid, and on the under district, it's district 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with all the village abbreviations so that you know which they cover. That's for anybody who wants to send a letter in or do any advertising on their own. This I've made over several years. I recently updated some of it, but it's pretty close. You might, but let me just tell you one thing. The legislators can be contacted through, I forgot to put the link there, but it's one person now is managing communications for all the county legislators. Her name is Sarah. And if you send her anything, she'll distribute it to all of them, which means that these press releases can go to the e-blast that a lot of these legislators do. Not all of them do it, but some do it. Could you scroll down? Then the next group here is the, I forgot, yeah, State Assembly, the purple is the assembly people, same thing with the aid on the right and the phone number. Could put emails in there if I wanted to, but I was doing this yesterday quickly. And down below that is the state senators. So these are ones that I've constantly tried. Years I've been sending them information about us, and I send them when I do demystifying. I do it when I include civic information whenever I have it, whenever I do it. It's always been there for years and years. And these are the ways I communicate with people. So there's a history there. That's all I want to say on that.
Wow. Well, I have to say, it's pretty impressive and comprehensive. You guys did an amazing job with that.
Don't give the link. I mean, this is our work. Nobody should like spread this link to anybody else. It's our group, it's our work, and nobody else should benefit by it, as far as I'm concerned. You know, these resource materials. I don't like the idea of us helping the whole world on how to do things. The Medicare counseling is one thing, yes, help everybody, but this kind of organization needs skill and attention, and I don't want it to go past this group. So don't give out this email, this list, this link.
Hi,
Julie, if I can,
question?
oh, sorry, go ahead, George.
So going back to this new model where we're giving out a phone number, this Google number, and we're going to get a message and it'll be forwarded to a council. Have we gone through what the scenario would be once you will get a message and you'll call somebody back, and then is it just going to be over the phone? Are we going to, how are we going to handle, some of the visual aids that, and documents that we use for the in-person sessions? Have we kind of gone through that? How that would work?
We touched on it, right? But what we're going to do is that as soon as you get the phone call or the email sent to you, you establish the contact with the person and you decide what is needed. At that point, it's up to you and the person to decide where to meet. Could be in a diner, it could be in the library, depends what you need, or not at all. It could be done by phone, it could be done by Zoom. This is just maximizing the facility, so we're not obligated to man civic centers and nobody shows up. This is one-on-one counseling like we've always done, but it's entirely up to you or the person to see what's needed. The libraries have also said that one or two libraries mentioned that if we needed to print out the plan finder after we use it with the laptops that they're loaning us, they would print for us. I'm sure they could print for us. They said something like that. If they can't print for us, then you send the person a link, they can print at home of the things they develop. They can, you send the link to their email and they can print it in their own machine, or they can print it with the library and pay for it, whatever. That part is easier. You can also meet in the diner if you bring your own laptop, and you can bring your own laptop to the library. They told us that they could bring their own or we could lend them. I don't know if anybody has anything else to add.
Basically, Julie, is the email that we get going to be an actual voicemail recording, the same as it that we get from like Diane when we do the take her calls?
Yes,
So it's not just an email, it's when you open it, you get the actual voicemail of the client.
you do get it, but when I listen to it, I will annotate the email and say, don't trust the voicemail because it recorded wrong, the transcription is wrong, the real name is blah, 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 because so many, it's not always transcribed right. So you will get the whole thing, you can listen to it yourself, but generally speaking, if I've spoken to the person, which I'm calling the person first because I have to find out which village they're in. So I'm going to be responding and either answering it myself, then you'll never hear about it, or forwarding it on. But if I have any information, I'll include that in the email while I forward it to you. But you'll always get the voicemail, right, Loretta?
Yes, if you guys want to try it, just go ahead, but do us a favor and say it's you and you don't expect to call back. That's
What'd
all.
you say?
I said they can try either or both of the numbers, just do us a favor and tell us it's them and they don't expect a call back.
I'm not getting that point. Who's the them and who's the they? I don't remember. I don't
This
understand.
group, if this group would like to try the Google Voice numbers to see what happens and see what happens, you can do that and just let us know you don't expect a call back, but we could forward you the email so you know what it looks like.
Right.
Who has your call, basically.
Practice run.
Yeah.
How do I access all?
Just to see what's gonna happen.
Betsy, I just sent you a link. Look at your email.
Okay.
I do just want to tag in the when Julie and Loretta set this up, they also asked me to put the link on the old the volunteers page on the seniors site. So now if you go to where we used to host all of the handouts and things like that, there is a direct link on the volunteers page there for the a direct link to the Google Drive. So.
Oh, but also I'm looking at your page now, the senior benefits page, and I don't see the helplines up there yet. You're gonna take care of all that, right? I
So which
see
ones?
I see on the westchester-libraries.org senior benefits page. I don't see the helplines yet. I see Phyllis and I see the John C. Hart, the library, but I don't see the helplines there. That's where the helplines need to go.
Yes.
And the third point, we were going to save that email that you had, that number. There's a library number that used to be the old helpline, and that's going to be informational. I think we discussed that last week, where it will give Krishna will have to record something that says everything about where you can go for help. But that's not done yet either. That's the third telephone number that will be on there.
Krishna, just to reinforce why you can't get rid of your helpline, as I was going through these sites and verifying them, there are a lot of them that still have the WLS helpline in their cures or newsletters or whatever.
Yeah, there's newsletters, there's like random blog posts and things like that that have cited that number. So it's worth having it as a redirect, you know.
I have to look at the agenda, explain the spreadsheet, the promotion. Oh yeah. So is there anybody here? I'm going to ask the directly. Is there anybody here who after this meeting is going to tell one of us to add their name to the libraries, to associated with a library or a senior center? Both things. You could be associated with a senior center. You'll get, you want that to be the first contact in that area. It's, you know, we need participation or else the program falls. I mean, we can set it up, Loretta and I, but it needs active work. And I don't want to lose your expertise, really. It would be so sad if you drifted because you're not attached to the list. We can only operate by the list.
I could be attached to the Larchmont, the Mamaroneck Senior Center. But I think Christine is also.
Yeah, I could do Mamaroneck Library as well.
So All right, I'm writing this down. Betsy. Mamaroneck Largemont. Who wants to be number one for Mamaroneck?
It doesn't matter. I'd be happy to.
Okay, Christine. Is that Christine? I
Yes.
don't see on my stupid iPad. Christine Mamaroneck. Okay, I mean, there's lots of areas in the north that are left open. Linda took a whole bunch, and then I don't know if she's on today, but she's, there's places that should be taken care of. Anyway, what's the next agenda? Any additional volunteers? What to expect the next important meeting? Yeah, Diane can talk about, right? Diane can,
Bob, did you want to say something?
I think Diane should say what she's going to talk about in the next, to show how important the next meeting is.
Bob had a question, Julie, first.
Okay,
Go ahead.
We're not hearing you,
who?
Bob.
Loretta, who are you not hearing?
Bob McNamara.
I see.
Uh-oh.
You know what, if he can always interject with his question, if he's having some technical difficulties right now. But for the next meeting, what I'd like to focus in is on the high cap exam. So the high cap exam should be ready for our group to take towards the end of June, early July. But there are certain questions on the exam that I feel may need a little extra attention. So I'm not going to go through every single of those 50 questions, but what I'll do is I'll probably pull out about 10 of them that tend to be the more problematic ones that we're finding that counselors are getting a little stuck on, and maybe we'll do some review of those questions. Also, I'd like to make sure that everybody has the disclaimer document. With the disclaimer document, you can either use it by printing it out and you can give it to the individual if you're counseling them face-to-face, or mail it out to them, or you could just read a small section from that disclaimer document. Because the whole point of the program is that you're really educating the individual and you're empowering them, but you are not making the ultimate decision for them. They're the ones that are going to direct you on how they wish for you to proceed with the counseling that you do with them. Meaning that if they need you to take that step to assist them with enrollment, they would have to let you know what it is that they're choosing for themselves, and you're never going to be making that ultimate decision for the individual. But we're going to go through that in more details next week when we cover the disclaimer. What I do need is I want to make sure that everyone who is going to participate going forward, that those individuals are going to have access to the SHIP TA to be able to take the high cap exam. So right now, I think I am going off of not the larger Google list of the 60 or so volunteers that are on there. I am going off of the one that I have about, like, I believe 9 or 10 volunteers that have expressed interest in moving forward. And those are the ones that I currently have registered with SHIP TA. So I don't know if after the end of this meeting, if it will be worthwhile for me to send out an email to everyone on that larger Google Doc for them to just get back to me and let me know if they're going to move forward so that I can, reactivate their SHIP TA. Julie, do you think that that will be worthwhile for me to take that step?
Well, look at the numbers. There's 60 people in this list, discarding, or not, I don't mean discarding Krishna, I don't know if Krishna is going to do
No,
anything.
never.
The admin people here, let's say there's about 50 plus 55 people that are supposed counselors.
Mhm.
We only have 5 people signed up to do things. There's a big, huge gap. I don't know why you'd want to be in this group or listen to this stuff or study if you don't want to counsel.
Exactly.
Taxes, I could understand. People sign up to do taxes so they could do it for their families and friends. It's a known factor. They do it, they get the training so they can do everybody they know's personal tax returns. But this is not that case. People don't spend this amount of effort to counsel their friends 3 times a year. They don't do it. So you need to either come off the Google group or be active, or tell Diane that you want to be on the test. She has some reserve spots, but show something, because otherwise it's just silly to have volume where you can't count on anybody. It's not fair. Kind of.
And also, if you are going to be a volunteer, you need to be an active volunteer under the civic program, meaning that there has to be some commitment from you. And it doesn't have to be an extent. I'm sorry, did someone have?
Expensive.
It doesn't have to be an extensive commitment. There are some individuals that want to come on board during open enrollment,
Loretta, can you-
or they may want to just come on board for a 3-month period of time in the year that they feel works for them, but there must be some kind of contribution. It cannot just be that you just want to be on the list and take the exam, and that's the extent of it.
Yeah. Remember that video though?
Loretta, can you make me a co-host so I can just clean up? I can mute.
I can't do, I don't know why I don't have
What are you
control.
watching?
Okay.
Oh.
Ming, we're hearing a lot of background noise from you. Could you mute your microphone?
And if we have time, I can at least share the disclaimer doc with individuals so you can have an idea of what it looks like. Because I don't know if some of you may want to start utilizing it now rather than wait for the next meeting. Am I able to share it?
Do you have the share button at the bottom of your screen?
There we go. Now I just need my glasses. Hang on. Is it up?
Yes.
Is it up?
Okay, we
Okay,
see it.
good,
Yes.
good. Okay. So this is the entire document itself. So it kind of outlines the intent of the program itself. I'm not going to read through all of it, but it does say that we are just there to provide information in good faith, and that we are also going to make sure that the information is kept confidential. The key piece, and if I can just scroll down. Why am I not being able, why am I not able to scroll down? I wanted to, here we go. There we go, hold on, sorry. There we are. So the key piece is really this section here at the bottom, which says that, health insurance information, counseling and assistance program provides education and information, not advice. Any final decisions or actions made based on this information are the responsibility of the beneficiary and not that of the program, Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services, its staffs, or volunteers. Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services and its representatives cannot be held liable or responsible for any decisions made as a result of their assistance. So if you're counseling on the phone and you want to just read off or inform the person, you can just use that highlighted section. Or if you're meeting in person and you feel more comfortable with just giving them the complete document, you're free to do that as well. If you mail it out, you may just want to put your name here. We could switch that around. If you want to put your name and maybe your contact information, you can do that if you feel like they may reach back out to you. But this is essentially covers the program itself and how the program operates. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But the important piece takeaway from this is to know that this is information only. You are not there to make the final decision for the person. The individual, the beneficiary, really has to do that. And that is not to say that we don't often take steps to assist the person with an online enrollment. We do that, but it's they have to be the one to tell us that I'm ready to take that step. This is my decision. Because usually when you're giving them the information, you're giving them a comparison. So when you're giving them that comparison, you're explaining to them what that comparison is, what the cost saving measures are, and the ultimate decision is theirs to make. If you're not comfortable with making that step and you have someone that you're assisting that needs an application assistance or an online enrollment, you can always reach out to our office and let us know. You can bounce that right back over to us. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this?
Diane,
Yes.
it's not a question. This is excellent. I wish we'd had this for years. I could think of so many incidents when people start questioning us. This is fabulous. We should all have this in printed and, you know, in PDF form. This is great.
Of course. There's also one other thing that I will be sending out to everyone, and that one is a confidentiality agreement that I think, you know, when you were under WLS, you already had signed one initially when you came on board to be a volunteer, but now that, you know, WLS is kind of not handling that part of it, I would like to just have everyone re-sign a confidentiality agreement, if you don't mind.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Do you email that document to us?
Oh, I'm going to email it. Yes, I'll email it to the entire group.
Thank you.
Why don't you email both, Diane, at the same time?
Oh, yes, that's a good idea to add the confidentiality.
Confidentiality as well as this one, yeah. This is excellent.
And Diane, we send it back to you. We sign it and you return it to you.
Correct. So you can either email it to me or you can, you know, mail it to me, regular mail, whatever works for you. If you have a scanner, then that would be great if you could just send it back through email.
Okay. Can we go back to the non-share screen so that we can see people again?
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Where's my glasses?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I would like to undo it for you, but I'm having some technical difficulty. Here we go. Oh, stop share, stop share. There we go. There we are.
No. Great. So the next thing is on the agenda was the RSVP. I spoke to Wendy Armstrong, right? And I don't know if the new people in this, I don't think there's any new people in this, but when you do mileage to meet people, they seem to say, she says that thing is still in place. Whereas if you get in an accident, there's extra insurance when you're going to.
No, not much. They didn't want to hear about it when I had an accident.
When was that?
3 years ago.
All right. Well, I did speak to her last year and she said that it's in place. So it's not much, but is it something? Because reporting hours, I don't know if anybody does it. Krishna, what do you want to do? Do you want to take those hours or what?
Hey, that's the thing. I've been trying to get in touch with Wendy to see how she wants to handle that, and who the station, the RSVP station, would fall under. You know, but once that's in place, I'm sure there will be a way to report hours. So forthcoming.
So up till now, so a couple of months ago, you were reporting hours quarterly or.
Yeah, until recently, we were WLS was like an RSVP station, as they called it, and then you know, the hours would come through us, and then Paul would actually put them all in a list and send them over to RSVP. So as of right now, Julie, I sent a few of your hours over to them for things that you were doing for demystifying Medicare, but other than that, there hasn't been any RSVP reporting going on.
Well, let's make it from July 1st. Well, not really, to June 1st, because it's been so much. You know, we've all been meeting and everything. So let's just marginally put down on a piece of paper in our house what we think our effort has been here establishing this new program in June, so that when he comes up with a scheme for reporting, we can just, it's easy to add. So let's start it from June 1st under this new program.
Krishna, would DSPS take over that part of reporting the volunteer hours over to RSVP? Or would they need us to do that?
That's the thing I want to check with her. I want to see how much of a process there is for that like reporting structure to be put in place. Like if they really need a lot of like I wasn't there when they set up the WLS as a station, so I don't know how involved that process was. But if it is really just a simple thing of people reporting to one person so that they can pass it on, then I think that we could set that up with you guys.
Yeah, Vaughn, who's on the call, he could take over that part if it's needed.
Okay, and it's
Definitely.
just it's a quarterly thing for them.
See, could you establish with her if it's worth it? I mean, I'm not here to service her needs to keep RSV in thing, and I don't like tracking hours. It's against my grain. So if there's no value to me, I don't even want to be bothered with it. So you have to establish, I think, what value is it to us to be their recording secretaries? We're not being paid for any of this.
Sure. Okay. I'll sugarcoat it and I'll bring it to her.
And
But
some of it may be, we can use probably estimates of the hours that are put in. Yours, Julie, will probably be like through the roof because you put in quite a number of hours into it. So if estimates are something that can be done with the hours, if that makes it easier.
And you didn't hear this from me, but like a ballpark of your hours is fine. You don't have to meticulously go back and track everything and like have paperwork to prove it. It's not something that intense. They're really just asking for a number, and so you could give them any realistic number, but just ballpark it, I think, is enough.
Okay, so the last thing would be the continued discussion of how to keep ourselves updated, but we can hold that till the next meeting when people have it some more thought, unless you want to say anything now. As a group, do we want, maybe we should. Do you want to have 20 minutes on Medicare minutes every single time we meet on some topic? And we'll tell the topic in the agenda so that if you had any questions on it, you could, or new information. Like, for example, I just saw in the AARP magazine that I just read this morning, the one that came through the mail in the past 2 days, that they're announcing what we heard last week or the week before, that the Medicare Advantage plans in 2019 were denying coverage. And so it's now hit the AARP level, which is a lobbying group on the wrong side as far as I'm concerned. But they're now looking as if they're supporting the idea that more pressure should be put on the government to monitor these maps that are, these advantage plans that are not giving what Medicare would have given if they were on original Medicare. That's a topic that came up this morning, and but it's been around for a few weeks or a month. But there's the Medicare minutes. So I think that maybe we should focus 15, 20 minutes on just knowledge. What does anybody else think? Don't know how to.
Julie, totally agree. Totally agree. And that Medicare Advantage problem, let's call it, has been publicized in many venues that I read, and it's very serious. So we need to keep our eye on it. Again, to pass on our knowledge as we know it. We certainly don't want to get, into any kind of specific company and a criticism of it, but on the other hand, that we must know what they've been finding. And this has been going on for some time. It's just come out much more, I think, since the change of administrations is really what my perception is.
I thought it was with COVID.
Well, it could be COVID too, but I mean, that's about the same time. Certainly could be. Certainly could be. But don't forget, we have a new head of CMS. So that was more my perception of things interest changing.
Well, we already did a session on the DC contracting already in one of our meetings, like 2 meetings ago, we did the DC and the ACO reach. Maybe we should do one person should volunteer for the next meeting to go through the salient points of the Medicare minute for the month. And another person, anybody else could just email us if they want to talk about another subject. We won't be strict and say it has to be 2 people. But if you have a topic that you're steeped in that you want to discuss, please, you run it. There's no reason why we should, we're managing the meeting, but there's no reason why we should run it in that sense. Just take it and roll with it and let the discussion happen against your points that you think are important. That's what I think should happen. So as far as next week, I don't know the Medicare minute. I don't have it up here of what would be, but I think that Diane's thing would be most of the meeting, but the last part of the meeting should be 20 minutes on the Medicare minute.
I was going to
For,
say that, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but with the high cap exam questions that we're going to review, I'm sure that's going to probably tie up a lot of the time because there will be some discussions once I throw out those questions to the group.
But that's not next meeting. Next meeting, June 27th, that's a high cap pointers, or is that going to come in?
Yes, because the exam is going to be available for the counselor to take towards the end of June, early July. But I'm going to give some preview questions that I feel
Next
is important to have a discussion on because they tend to be problematic in the practice that was done. There were focus groups done on this exam, and these are the questions that kind of got flagged as people being stuck on. So I thought maybe it would be nice for us to do a review of those prior to everyone taking the exam.
I agree. And when is the final date where we should take the exam by?
Oh, it's probably going to be August or so. So you'll probably have all the month of July. I'm expecting that probably the first week or so of August would be the end date. But of course, if anybody needs an extension on that, it's always granted.
Okay, so July 11th, which would be the meeting after the next one, that would be another topic, a Medicare topic for 20 minutes of some kind, which we'll let Loretta and I will talk about. And anybody else who has a topic for that July 11th meeting, focus on. It may have come from studying from the exam and you want to talk about it more, but just let us know. Be active. It's really a group. We're not in person. We don't break bread together, but we are really have worked together so many years that this should come easy for us, I think. Anything else? Anybody have anything else to say?
I did have one other thing I want to throw out there. Who was the original person that did that, the DME list? Because I think that was like, was it Carolyn Gallagher?
Yes, I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Is she participating at all anymore as a volunteer or?
I don't know if she's been in these meetings, Julie, but I know that she's still around. She's still in the lists and she does contribute every once in a while. So Diane, do you need to get in touch with her?
Well, I was hoping that someone may take on updating that list because I know it's been a while and I've had so many requests coming in from all over asking for this list. And every time I send it out, I send it out with, oh, it hasn't been updated in a while. So please forgive me if there's anything on there that's no longer viable. So it would be nice to have it updated if somebody wants to take it on as a project.
Send a group memo to the WSOS Google group, right? To the you can mention that as a line in the request. You're sending us 2 documents. Just say, please, somebody volunteer to do this and see if anybody bites.
Okay.
Diane, I could just get you in touch with Carolyn and we can see if she feels able right now to do like a full update of the list or if she needs some help with it. Maybe that's a good first step. Just I know that she made it, so she might feel a little bit spurned if we go right around her.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm sure she would take some help in updating it. So we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. We should reach out to her and see, give her first dibs on whether she wants to be that person to do it.
So Julie, just to be clear, Diane's meeting for reviewing the high cap information, is that next week or the week after?
No, it's going to be the 27th. We're shifting the schedule. So 2 weeks from today, it'll go through the rest of the summer. That avoids the 20th, which is some kind of holiday that she's not going to be at work, and the July 4th weekend, which we couldn't meet anyway. So this just shifts it. And it'll be every 2 weeks from now on.
Okay, but it's June 27th for Diane's meeting. Thank you.
Then we bypass the 4th and we go to the 11th, and then it should be pretty straight until, I don't know what happens in the fall. Diane, I was going to ask you a question. Oh, could you update us on what's going on with that insulin? That insulin 35, I thought that program got killed, that $35 thing, but it's still out there?
It's still out there, yeah. I know it's a pilot project, but I think the end date may be for the pilot 2024, but I'd have to go back and check. Don't quote me on that, but it's still around.
It works for OM and MAPS or just MAPS?
It's for whoever is participating. So not every single plan is participating in it. So there are certain Medicare Advantage plans that are participating and certain, standalone that are. So that's where the plan finder, comes into play, where you have to check to see which ones are participating.
Okay.
Diane, this is Mary Ann.
Mhm.
I have a question regarding the ads on television when they promote the $60 refund on your Social Security from certain Medicare Advantage plans. Are those plans, or are they in certain regions of the country?
It's funny because someone else asked me this about whether, those plans, and I'd have to look a little more into it because I don't know. Some of them, when they're advertising on TV saying like, oh, you could get this much back, or they're usually referring to the dual eligible plans. So they are really referring to screening individuals and placing them into an MSP so they could get back that Part B premium. And then there are some that may offer like a discount card to their members, where that money can be used for like over-the-counter items, and you have to use it within a certain time frame. It's not like it rolls over or anything. So there's different little rules that seem to apply to these ads that you're seeing on television. But of course, the main thing is don't go off of an ad, because ads, once you read the fine print and find out the finer details, it's never exactly what they're claiming it to be. You always have to go back to doing the homework and making sure that you understand the finer details.
At first, I thought that's what they were talking about, the MSPs and the Part B premium refund, but
Some
they
of them are.
they give the specific amount of $60.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The $60 ones, I think, are like a discount card.
Okay. Thank you.
And when you look at it, some of them, and it won't be like across the board, like let's say it's MVP I'm talking about. Sometimes they'll be talking about a specific benefit that only applies to one out of their MVP products. So if you're not in that particular plan of MVP, then it's not, that benefit wouldn't apply.
Thank you.
Relating to that, I did send you, I don't know who got this because I was upset when I found it. I do get those discount things back from my plan, my Advantage plan, for $25, $25 when I do certain exams. And I read the small print recently and found out that if you don't use it, if you do not use this plan, if you do not use the $25 and pay for something with it, and it goes over a 6 month or a year, depending on what it's set up, then they will charge you $395 to keep it open. So people who don't spend it quickly and feel like letting it accumulate might be, if they go over that deadline, they might be charged and lose some of it. So instead of $25 left, you have the 21, whatever, 5 cents. You have less of it in there. It's a way to, I guess, to them to clear the books. I don't know what it is. But people should know that that's existing. Use it as soon as you get it.
Oh, I have to hop off in just a minute here, but I actually had a question for the group. If anybody's heard anything about this cost plus drugs website, something that Mark Cuban set up that I believe, let me send it in the into the chat. I think the whole idea behind it is like
You can't use your drug
it's
plan
all out
with
of
it.
pocket. Yeah, it's you have to pay for it all out of pocket, all yourself, but it's like supposed to be just a
Dirt
slight
cheap.
markup, 15% markup over what they get the drugs for wholesale. I don't know. Has anybody heard of this? Marna, it
I
sounds like you
read,
may have.
I read about it, yes, but I'm not, no, nothing else. I just read about it.
Okay.
Is there a way to find out where they get them from? Because that's the problem with buying from overseas. If he's buying from overseas, it would be nice if his website said these are bought in the United States.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. Let me see. Just try clicking on
Because
one
if
of
he's
these
warehousing
notifications.
manufactured here, it's a better chance of it not being flaky materials in the drug.
Most of your generics come from overseas.
Yeah,
Which would- Which wouldn't be protected, right?
The fact that they're selling them here in the States, yeah, they are.
Really? I thought we're always warned that if you use mail order from abroad, you don't know what you're getting.
This is not from abroad. This is his company here in Dallas. And it's generics only.
Interesting.
looks like they're getting their meds from another company called True Pill. So there is like a one step of removal there, but yeah, interesting.
Okay, so
I
I
was
guess
just curious to see if there are any if anybody had tried it or looked at it and if there was a catch to it, you know.
I don't think it's a catch, Krishna, but the bottom line is that the generics are the thing that we get cheap ourselves through our plans. So I think it's more focused on insurance customers, but not Medicare customers. I don't see it as a benefit for a Medicare customer to get an advantage on a generic. We already have the advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes the generics at like Costco or one of those larger chains tend to be fairly low anyway. But for those who may not have any insurance,
right,
then it may not be a bad option. I have to look into it more carefully because I haven't heard anything about it. But you know, for the uninsured, you always want to look to see what kind of discount programs are out there. I usually will look on, Needy Meds and kind of do a search there to see what kind of manufacturer discounts can apply to their particular medication. That's always a good starting point.
Nice. Okay.
But anything else, the parting word then, if nothing else, is just please just tell Loretta what you're willing to sign up for, just to start giving this more of a push. There's just too few people operating. So I'll keep saying that. Volume gets up, right? All right. And if it fails, we went down trying, okay? If it fails.
No, it's not gonna fail. Too much work has gone into it. You guys are just like, you put your heart and soul into it and so much time. And I'm really blown away by the resources that you have on there. And hopefully people make use of it. That the counselors are utilizing what's on there.
I didn't mean that your group there, ESP.
Oh, no, I didn't take it that way. I don't want to see this whole volunteer group go down in any way. I want it to continue and flourish. And I think, Krishna wants the same thing, and he has so generously stayed on, as I say, as an honorary volunteer, Krishna.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I'll see you at the next meeting and thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.